Hey, how you doing? I hope you're well. I'm Diana and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to start my setup for my 2026 journal. I imagine this is going to take me a while and I've already got crap on my journal, but that's fine. In 2025, I have branched out into 2 journals. So this year I've decided to buy 2 straight up, both in this lovely dusty rose color, and I use the Lectrum 1917 journals. These are like your traditional bullet journal. So there's 250 pages and I guess the pages themselves are quite thin. There is some bleed through, but I personally don't mind. So because I'm having the 2 journals, I have decided to do a lot of trackers and things up front, and I'm just gonna have fun with it. I am still waiting for some supplies. I did a big order from Mina Goni Sully Art because I love her, and there's some washi tapes and things coming. So this is definitely gonna take me a couple of days to set up, if not weeks. There is gonna be some stuff out of order, out of sequence, but without further ado, let's just jump in. So the first spread I'm setting up is an absolute staple in my reading journal. It is my books read in 2026. I do keep a spreadsheet which has all like the list and the statistics that I want to track. So this is just a really fun visual way for me to show the books that I've read this year, and I absolutely love it. So I am just decorating this with some old book paper. No books were harmed in the making of this journal by myself. I did buy a lot from a wonderful eBay seller who just gave me 100 pages of random different books. So we've got different textures, all that jazz. And we are just getting that sorted. I apparently, for whatever reason, don't like the way this looks, so am trying to cover it up. The glue tape is really the main star of this reading journal. I'm fully obsessed with it, but it does not like going over book paper whatsoever. As you can see, it just like shreds it. So I did bring out my trusty glue stick to fix that up and make sure it's all stuck down. Upon rewatching this, I have no idea why I decided to do that. A big difference from my journal this year is that I remembered I had a Cricut machine. So I decided to cut out all my titles which I made on Canva onto sticker paper so that they are all looking really, I guess, really uniformed and very professionally done. I did have a very hard time at the start figuring out how to get the letters out. I was hoping to do it like Erin Smith from the journaling channel, and she has it like cuts it around, but for whatever reason it cut out each individual letter, which I actually kind of like the look of better, even if it did take way too long. And I've edited the crap out of it to, remove all the time it took to get those letters out. I'm just figuring out what I want to do for the bottom of the page, and apologies, I am still not used to filming with my overhead tripod, so you will see the book out of frame and my head appear out of nowhere, so apologies for that. But I just got this pink text paper from Journal Say, and I think that makes a nice contrast for the bottom. Oh, there's my head. And last but not least, I'm just making the little brackets so I know where to put each of the books on the page. I made a mistake, so good old whiteout is here for the rescue. Since we are going into 2 journals, I do a lot of these pages. I think we go up to like page 20 or something like that. So I'm just showing you what the other page looks like. So I only do the heading on the first page, and so that gives me another row of books to add. So just going along and adding in my little brackets so you can see what the rest of the spreads will look like. Here are the last pages. I've skipped the other 17. So before I started filming, I had spent a lot of time mapping out my journal and what I wanted to do. So throughout it, you are going to see these very dark purple post-it notes, which will tell me which spread is going to be there. So I must have been going to do something with this page, but I did not. All right, this is my 2026 overview page. So there's the top of my head. No, it's not. It is my... So this will have a little box, and I will slightly fast forward through most of this so you can see I will have 100 boxes on this double spread, and the idea is that every time I finish a book, I will color in the box based on whatever color I've allocated for that month. And then I have a little section on the second page where we finish up, where I will put in what date I completed this on. So it does end up looking fabulous. There's just a lot of ruling that needs to happen. And there we go, and there's my little completed on. Yep, there we go. Figuring out the tripod slowly as we go along. And I found this grid paper again from Journal Say. I did put a big order, as I mentioned, with Journal Say along with the artist Mina Gonisuli art. The Journal Say order had arrived, still at this stage waiting on the stickers from Mina Gona. So here I am just putting in this grid paper. Having accidentally bought a grid lined Lectrum notebook, I do use that as ephemera all the time. So when I saw this paper pack on Journal Say, I knew I had to get it, and I'm so glad I did because I am obsessed with how this turned out. And we are sticking on my second heading. So I've kind of titled this one my Storygraph challenge because I do tend to use and prefer Storygraph over Goodreads. I do still have a Goodreads page, but my preference is definitely Storygraph. So in honor of my preference, I decided to name this page the Storygraph challenge rather than Goodreads challenge, as it has been the last few years. And I really just love that pink. All right, here comes the fun part. So we are now going to stamp. You can see me counting a lot, with each box getting its own number 1 through 100. It is at this point I realize that I have made a mistake. This is my 2025 journal, and I've actually put an extra line of squares at the bottom of the left-hand side and decided to forego putting a footer. So I have to figure out how I'm going to fix that. I thought whiteout was going to be the answer, and I realized that wasn't really going to work. So I've just pulled out a page from a different Lectrum notebook. I still go with the whiteout just to make sure that the black lines don't really bleed through, and then stick down this extra bit of paper. Bob's your uncle. We're fixed. Then we go back to stamping. So I just do it each number at a time, and we'll go through and stamp it out. There we go. Almost finished. And then we've got 100. Beautiful. I picked up these extra pages. I think they're supposed to be for a Filofax, but I got them off Amazon, and I absolutely love having these extra dot spaced kind of loose leaf paper and color. So I'm just writing out my goals for the year, which is I want to put $5 every time I finish a book into a savings jar. I cannot for the life of me read the rest of them. I should have grabbed the journal. I've decided to implement a monthly budget for books rather than having a monthly amount of books that I want to get, hoping that that will help me save on that. And then just normal things like finish 24 series, read 10 subscription box books, read 10 event books, and other things like that. So I'm just sticking down my paper, and I've put my goals in the same font and the same grid paper, and now just doing a little, tracing out a little border in pencil, and then getting this beautiful Tombow brush pen in the same shade or a similar shade. And now we're off. Where are we going now? This is my 2026 overview page, so lots of ruling on this one as well. So each of those little boxes will be dedicated for one a month, and the idea is that I will be helping track some of the stats that I use in my wrap-ups. So looking at formats and if the book is a series or a standalone. And then just using a Tombow brush pen to colour the top half of the box, which will be like the heading. I stuck with green again this year because of the ephemera, and the paper that I wanted to use as decoration is still green. So I've got this beautiful like gold foiled paper that's very art deco, which I'll stick in the corner. So green it is. And at the bottom there, I'm just going to have my total pages red and total books red, which I'll fill in at the end of the year. Now I'm just popping in each of the little headings, so it'll be physical, ARC, ebook, audio, and then it is first book, standalone, and sequel. And then the idea is that I put a little number underneath it. So that's the paper I was talking about. How beautiful. And again, I've got my little Cricut cut stickers, and I'm just trying to figure out where they will fit. I don't know if it was probably me. I probably didn't use the right setting on the Cricut, because I think one setting I did cardstock and then that worked. And then this one I put a different setting. I think I did paper and it didn't cut as nicely. So I was just having a big challenge trying to get it out. So just cutting off the other sections of this bit of paper. I think last year I put it the other way, so it was like the longer side was across the top, but I didn't have the big heading, so we've changed it up a bit. And just erasing any pencil marks. Doing in a little border down the side, which I think is very similar, but it's my go-to. Some little dots and a line. I don't know, sometimes the border just really brings the whole piece together. So in the same Tombow, there we go, lining it up with some dots, just for some, je ne sais quoi. And she's done. This one is my series overview. Still, like last year, a big thing for me is to catch up on series. Now, I am using these cool brush pens. They're almost like the Crayola markers, but they're a Officeworks kind of home brand. For those in Australia, they were a lot of fun. I think I got it was ridiculous. I think I got 30 markers for $12 or something. So at the start I was just trying to pick which shade of pink I wanted and have put a little scribble there, and then I'm just stamping out start of year stats. that was upside down. And on the bottom of the right page, I will put end of year stats. So I'm just trying to keep track of how many series that I'm up to date with, I've DNF'd, I've started, so in progress with, and have completed. Beautiful. And then I'm just writing finished, started, and continued on the little pink squiggles. So again, similar vibe to the previous one, I will put how many books, how many series underneath each of those titles for each month. And now we're going stamping. I love these stamps and I love the way they look. Sometimes with the monthly spreads, the thought of having to stamp out the months of the year, time after time, it really takes up a lot of time. But luckily I had an audiobook in and I was just vibing. I started setting up this journal after work in December. We were in the lead up to a really big event at work, so we were on campus every day. So I'd kind of taken over my desk and had set up the camera, so it was just there for me. This font I absolutely hated and definitely would just handwrite it in future. Teasing you all because you can't see it just yet because I haven't moved it up. It was so fine and I was worried I was going to rip it, and it still wasn't big enough for me. But hey, we live and we learn. Now, as you can see, I did a lot of prep in this journal, but my dumbass didn't realize that I wanted green for this page. So I was on the phone to my brother, and luckily we decided that thanks to Wicked, shout out to Alphaba and Glinda, green and pink go so well together. So I just decided to not have a freak out and just keep on keeping on. So I've got these little drop caps which go next to the stats, and they have F for finished, D for DNF'd, U for up to date, and P for progress, I think I said. And luckily they were very easy to lift up if I needed to make any changes. So there we go. And then I figured to keep in the green, instead of getting the pink dots, we're just going to put these green kind of watercolory dots down one side and call it a day. And then I did tell you we were going for chaos in the setup and just vibes. So I've just flipped back to the overview page because I remembered that I had not stamped the months. So we are going in for the second time in this journal setup and stamping out the months of the year. All right, moving on to my series tracker. So this was a spread that I absolutely loved in 2025, so I was very excited to keep it going. I'm just setting up the first kind of few series. I know lots of people do this in very different ways. I prefer to do it this way, and basically you'll have the series name on the left hand side with the right hand side column having little boxes numbered 1 to whatever the series is, and just being able to tick off and color in each box when I read it. So any series that I add in, any book that I've read prior to the start of 2026 will be coloured in a silvery light grey, and then same with the Storygraph challenge. Anytime I finish a book from a series, I will colour it in that corresponding month. And hopefully we can see more series finished than series started. I absolutely love this washi tape, so I use it all the time. And at this stage, I'm pretty much having to buy one annually because it's in every spread, pretty much. So I'm just framing the top and bottom of that, I don't want to call it graph chart area, bordered area, and luckily enough, by cutting it in half, I have enough to put on the bottom. So no waste not, want not. I'm just trimming off the excess there. Bringing back my beautiful sticker paper, I'm using a drop cap, and then for whatever reason my drop cap for S disappeared, so I do go back. And I do just love the way that the series looks. Like the titles look cut out, even if I was having an absolute pain of it. So I'm just using the, I guess the excess, the back of the sticker for the T drop cap as a placement for the S, and then placing the rest of the word series. And then I do set up that page basically 3 times, the exact same. This is my anticipated releases spread. I love that the spread has like the ephemera, the focal point being in the middle. It's something that I've done since I had my first journal in, I don't even know, 2023 maybe? So we're just doing little boxes around the outside. I've just decided to do one spread just to keep the pressure off, you know? And mostly going to go for like authors I've read before, because there is a better chance that I'm going to pick them up, and that's why I'm anticipating them. In the corner, I've decided to put a little flower. It all makes sense when we get the focal image, which I will need to print off, like with that extra missing S. And the idea is that when I finish an anticipated release, I will color its flower in with the corresponding monthly color. I do trace most of this stuff out with pencil just to make sure I like something, so you will see me coming in and erasing any pencil marks quite frequently. And then bringing back my beautiful stamps, I've just stamping out anticipated releases. I like that the title itself is quite dainty and, I was going to say inoffensive, but it's just beautifully kind of typed down the bottom and really just lets the images on which will come up on this page really sing. Okay, here is my bookshelfie, and more importantly, there is the back of my head. So I have branched out back into double spread for this particular spread, and to make sure that it's not a duplicate of any of the other, like my books read in 2026 spread, this one is going to be books that have come off my shelf. So books that I physically own, I will go ahead and put in here. I was thinking of coloring it in via genre because I do have my genre Tetris, but I'm unsure. Maybe I will color in via format. Maybe we'll stick with genre, and if I don't like it, I'll go with formats for next year. So just doing my little window, which I have drafted out. I did take massive inspiration from a Pinterest post from a creator, so I will make sure to leave them linked down below for this window. I love that it was something slightly different than just, you know, the square. I've done a few square windows in my time setting up a bookshelfie, so I figured let's advance to the next stage, and I think it looks beautiful. I then grabbed a bunch of markers from Pandamart. For those of you who don't know, it's a massive Daiso / Temu that's set up in a Bunnings in Australia, and I found these pack of markers which are a knockoff of those alcohol markers that everyone uses for their colouring in books, for like 60 markers for $15. It was crazy. I'm not expecting them to last me a long time, but I am enjoying having them and having an array of colors. So I've just picked one that kind of matches the fine liner that I've used, and I'm coloring in my little bookshelves and the window frame. I did swatch them all, and so far for these markers the fine tip really works really well. Was having some issues with the other, like the highlighter tip, but I imagine maybe the more I use it and get ink through it, it should be okay. As mentioned, my Mina Gonisuli art haul had arrived, so I'm just popping in some little stickers here. I wanted to make like a mini little gallery wall, so just shuffling that over. I love this like cabinet of curiosity clear sheet that she has. It's beautiful. And then we'll get onto the star of the show, which is that pink washi tape. It's just sitting there waiting to be used. I try not to spend like too much money on supplies for my journal, but I have made like 3 or 4 orders from Journal Say, but never spent like, probably spent like $100 each time, but that's been orders that I've made over the years, and I still have so many supplies left. And Mina Gonisuli art, I only just made my first purchase with her last year, and this year I've definitely come back. So I'm just mapping out where everything goes, and I will say, you see these little plants that are there, which I absolutely love, they're on the washi tape. So I'm going to get so much use out of that just as accessories, and you can see in the little corner there that I'm referencing that Pinterest page just to see how they put the stars in the night sky in the window. I at first decided that I was going to try and do this yellow, but it just was not worth it, and was going to also try and outline all the stars, but very quickly I figure that that's really not going to work with how small the stars are. Yeah, this is the point where I'm like, yeah, screw it. Mostly thanks to me remembering that I have these metallic Cricut pens that I got for Christmas last year, so they're going to absolutely save me on this spread. So I'm just drawing back in the moon and the stars with the metallic pen, and just putting little dots and sprinkles and sparkles all over the place. And for someone who has not a single visual art drawing creative bone in their body, I am wildly impressed with myself. Not to say it's perfect, but she's perfect to me. And then I'm just drawing in the rest of the little books and then going in and ruling away. I didn't actually have a particular number that I was trying to get to. I was just trying to have some variation in how the shelves were and making sure I got enough of those little accessory points on there as well. Oop, that's a quick look at it, and then we're flipping through. I think this is my arc log. Yes, it is. Can you tell I'm watching this flip through and recording without my journal next to me? It's all a surprise to me as well. Then we've got a zebra midliner, just highlighting every second line to give some variation. And I chose this color because it matches pretty much the color of the journal as much as the midliners that I have. However, you'll see that again, while I did a lot of pre-planning, I didn't do a lot of thinking while setting this up, and a grave error in color, text to color, has been made, but that's the part of journaling. We just live and we learn and we make it work. And I think it's letting go of this idea of perfectionism, which is something that I struggle with, and just having it be part of the creative process and having fun and not thinking about it too much. That is something that I find particularly fulfilling and why I enjoy it. But you'll see here that I was expecting to pick a text that was that color, so there was a lot of nah, screw it, we'll just make it work. But it is that kind of beautiful creative outlet to be just like, it may not work, but just give it a go and be creative, and that's the whole process of it. So now moving on to a very junk journal-y page. This is going to be my R Fantasy bingo spreads for 2026. So that is a bingo reading challenge that is hosted on Reddit, and it goes from the 1st of April to the 31st of March each year. So one side will be my 25-26 board, and the side that I'm currently working on filling in some beautiful green papers will be my 2026 to 27. Pop down in the comments what do you think my favorite color is. This whole journal is making it very obvious. So just layering a different number of papers in the corner there just to get what I want. I'm really wanting some kind of text there, and then I've got some grid paper underneath it, which I am really struggling with trying to place. I think that's the thing about like junk journaling. It's just a lot of getting your elements on the page and then just testing where you think it will work and kind of having that like imperfect, perfect look. We've changed the sheet that I wanted to look at like 5 different times. Nope, she's in. So I'm just, there we go. And we've decided to do it like on opposite, like the corners facing kind of on opposite sides. And I'm going to use another one of those coloured loose leaf dot spaced pieces of paper in this beautiful green so I can write out the headings. Well, really just the one heading because it'll go across the 2 pages. Not that my handwriting is great, but I'm trying to use it to, I guess, hopefully get better at it. And then straight back onto putting in some more paper on that inner corner. And some more grid paper because I love the way it looks. And this beautiful green foiled paper, which is to die for. I got that from my most recent Journal Say purchase and I am beyond thrilled with it. I thought it was going to be origami paper and I didn't realize it was going to be foiled. Just rubbing the front of the cover to make sure everything is stuck down where it's supposed to be. So using one of my panda markers and just writing out our fantasy bingo in this kind of thin cap, and then we'll go across it, erasing it out, and then we'll go across it in like a cursive in a fine liner. Perfect. And then I've decided that I'm going to stamp the years so I can put one underneath each of the boards. I do notice that I make a mistake and I think I go April to April where it should be April to March, but again, in the interest of not letting perfectionism get me down, we're gonna let it be. In the words of John Lennon, we're gonna let it be. Or should I say McCartney? Were they still the Beatles at that stage? I think they were. In the words of Lennon and McCartney, let it be. Moving on to the next spread while I've been philosophizing about the Beatles. We are going into my Around the Year in 52 Books challenge. This is a challenge that I do on Goodreads pretty much every year for the last 5 years at least. And I love that I now get a space to put a visual representation because nothing lifts my serotonin more than cutting out and sticking in a little book cover into my journal. Like nothing makes me realize that I've done the challenge more than being able to get to do that step. We're back with my Cricut headings. Oh, I realized that I did have another arc log, and can you see how nice that looks with the pen being the same color? So very just trickily trying to get the title in order Some of the letters were coming out together, like year came out together, no idea why. And the rest of them did not. So just closing the journal to make sure that each of the letters and words stick to where they are. And just putting some of the little ephemera stickers around the outsides. I've then decided that I wanted to increase my artistic skill and went back to the bookshelfie and have used a slightly darker texture to make some kind of wood grain. I don't know if it shows up very well here, but I was thoroughly impressed with my artistic ability, and it just makes it less two-dimensional. We're back to the Around the Year in 52 books, and I'm just writing down the prompt on each of those little squares. I had already put my little 51 and 52 prompt in that little pink square, and this way I can know which box to put the little book cover in. Moving on to my priority series. This started 2025, and so I've just random generated a number of series, and the idea is that I would like to get these finished by the end of the year. We're bringing back the Cricut letters, and this particular font was an absolute pain in the ass. It looks fantastic. And there's my 2025 journal, so I'm just pinching the entire layout from it and mapping out where the title should go. This font was particularly painful. There we go, there it is. Doing a little drop shadow on the border there. So I love how it kind of looks like a crossword. Like in my brain it does. I know it doesn't actually look like a crossword, but I really just love this layout. So I've just got each of the series that I random generated, and then underneath it is how many books in that series that I need to complete. So again, similar idea to most of my journal. In the month that I finish it, I will color the box and cross off the title in the color of the spread. You will notice up in the top left-hand corner, I do have my 2025 journal there as a reference point, just so I can make sure that I do it exactly how I want to. I'm also trying really hard not to do cursive because my handwriting is a mix of like print and cursive, so I'm trying to make sure to stick to one handwriting style. And then just colouring in the little heading boxes in that beautiful light grey. We are bringing back the bookshelfie for a very special spread, and this is for my ARC backlog. So in the last 10 years that I've been on Instagram and Bookish Spaces, I have accumulated a lot of ARCs that I have unfortunately let go to the wayside. So this spread here is a homage to my fallen ARCs and a reminder that I need to prioritize them. Also a reminder that I need to slow down on the requesting of them. So we'll basically, each of the books on here will have the title of an ARC, and I will color it in once I've read it. Yep, say it with me, in the color of the month that I read it in. So one of my goals is to read at least 3 backlog ARCs a month. Hoping that some of them have audiobooks as well, so that may make it a bit easier for me to continue on. We put some more of those absolutely adorable plant stickers, and now I'm just going in and mapping out, I think it's like 42. So I think if I just do 3 a month, it's going to take me 14 months to do, but hey, we've got to start somewhere. And then I'm just stamping at the bottom ARC backlog, which you can't see because I will promise the next time we do one of these, I will be more mindful of where the camera is. So just writing down the titles. I accumulated them and I've just got them on the notebook there, so I'm making sure to cross them off whenever I write one in the journal so that I'm not missing any. Yeah, there's about 44, 45. And for this one I've decided to go for a daytime rather than a nighttime look, just for a point of difference. I try to do some kind of shaded look with the sun. It doesn't turn out great, but hey, I'm not sure if these markers are meant to do the same as like the alcohol markers that everyone uses, but we live and we learn. We're just doing our wood grain touch up to the shelves and the windowsill. And I've just remembered that I printed off the extra stuff I needed, so I'm just putting the series in the series tracker title there, and I'm putting in some Minagoni Suli art stickers just across the title, but then also at the footer of the page. This was one of her sunflower ones, which I loved. And now we're going back to our anticipated releases, and I'm finding which of my little ghosty guys that I want. And I want the one in the field of flowers. That's kind of more close up. So I'm just gluing him in there and we'll cut him out. This is exactly how my brain works. I'll be almost finished with a project or a task, and then I'll just remember that I suddenly need to do something else, and we'll go back and chop and change. It's really how my creative process works with everything, including writing reviews. I never write them linearly. I will map out what I want in each paragraph, and then we'll just write them in whichever order I want. So this is the beautiful Romanceopoly hosted by Under the Cover Book Blog, and the glue tape had died, so we're going back to the good old glue stick. And this year we are going to university, and they've set up this beautiful campus map for us with the different study streams. So I've just put this in the background like I did with my 2025 one, and I'm moving on up. We are going to my bingo spread here, so lots of little lines. It's a 5x5 board, I think. No, a 6x6 board. So there's 30 prompts all up, and I've seen this on, is it Manda Maid? She does the beautiful journal with the pirate theme, and she's doing a Lord of the Rings one this year. I'll leave her link below. And I love this idea. I'm sure I've seen it on other people's, but I vividly remember hers. And the idea is that I have randomly assigning each of those prompts a number, and each of the squares in the bingo board also have that number. And the idea is that I will cover up the numbers on the prompt with a sticker, which took me a while to figure out how I was going to do that. And then I won't know which prompt will lead to a bingo. There we go. I doubled up the stickers just to make sure you couldn't actually see through it. I think I got these dot stickers I either got from Journal Say or Amazon, but they're just on a washi. I love this text paper that you can get from Journal Say, so I've got it in all the shades they have. So this is like their blue, purpley, lilac, indigo, I don't know what you want to call it. And then I've got my bingo. I realized I put the B down too low. These beautiful stamp washi stickers from Minagoni Suli Art, and I just love the simplicity of this. So I've done like the black, and then I'm just pulling in a couple of other colors based on, you know, the purples and the greens from the art. And I'm just writing in the prompts. So they're things like, you know, read a TBR veteran, read a friend read a classic, book with LGBT rep, and we're moving on. This is for my buzzword reading challenge. This is hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. And this year I attempted to do both the cover and title, but I was having much more success with the title. So I'm going to continue with just the title for 2026. So I will go ahead and print off the board, but I'm just putting in like some little ephemera around the side to kind of match the vibes of the board that she's got. Luckily everything here is stickers, so it's very easy to move. Just going on like vibes and themes. Then we've got my reread page, so I love having an excuse, as I said earlier, to print off a little book cover, because nothing makes me want to read something more than being able to print off a little book cover. So I'm just putting in all the kind of title and everything in the middle of the page, with the idea that every time I reread a book, I'll print off a little cover and paste it around. Trying to also use scraps of stuff that I've already ripped up. Another Mina Goni Suli art sticker, which I freaking love, and then just the title rereads, which I love that font. It's so sleek. This is a new thread and one that I absolutely love. I did find a inspo on Pinterest, so that I'll leave that below, and it's kind of an expansion of what I do for my Priority series one. It kind of gives, for me, it gives that crossword vibe. We've got a beautiful sticker in the middle. Like with my anticipated releases, I love having stickers in the middle. So we're going for this beautiful fox and witch from Mina Goni Suli art. I've just cut it in half and sticking one side on each side. This one, I just decided to lay it on top of it and just close the page, so she's good. On the right hand side, which I'm currently working on, is an author backlist. So the idea is that there are a handful of authors that I've picked that I want to try and read their backlist. A few of them are authors that I've loved and just didn't get around to reading in 2025, and a few are authors who are like auto-buy, like I've got Nalini Singh on there and Lana Perachek, who I just want to be able to say that I've read everything they've written. I do have Jasmine Mass. I'm not 100% sure if she's got more, but I've just put down the Cruel Shift of her series because it's another reminder that I need to finish off that series. And then we've got Taisania Odette, who I've read 2 of her 4 series, so I would like to continue on. And then in the corner there, we've got our Rita, who I just absolutely love, the Peaches and Honey duet. As Miss Pizza Reed says, it gives the same vibes of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but we're focusing on a more linear storyline and watching what it's like to be granted immortality and living through time, and how you try and keep your humanity and your empathy for people. And our wonderful girl Anna gets immortality due to the generosity she shows a stranger, and the shape-shifting god Quran gives her immortality, and then also pops in throughout history to just make sure she's okay. I bawled my eyes out. It's getting trad pubbed by Tor this year, and I believe there's going to be some potentially significant changes to it. I know it's longer, so I have pre-ordered my editions of that through Barnes & Noble because I had very special, beautiful, Barnes & Noble edition. It was pretty. So I'm excited to reread. Well, to read that, the new iteration of that story. And on the other side, I'm just doing a chance to kind of do a track of some of the goals that I put down on my goals page. I did add one, which was historical fiction. I put 5. Historical fiction is a genre I love, and it's not something that I reach for as much, mostly because most of my historical fiction I have are physical books, and I just don't read as many physical books. Here's hoping we can change that up. So we've got my historical fiction, we've got finished 24 series down the bottom, and then we've got read 10 event books, I think, and then read 10 subscription box books. Because girl, I have way too many on my shelves that I just haven't read, and I keep buying them because they're pretty. This may be one of my favorite spreads of this whole journal. I don't know, it just does something in my brain. The color, the layout, the art, the simplicity, what it does for me, it just makes my brain sing. So I've decided to, instead of the purple, I'm going the pink on this side, which matches the pink in the tile surrounding that window arch, and I just love it. We're going back to Romanceopoly. So as I rudely cut myself off, this is a year-long challenge, and unlike what they've done in past years, this year it's kind of very much a choose your own adventure. The idea is that you need to finish the 4 curriculum, you pick a major, you pick a minor, which also gives you 4 prompts each, and then you have a chance for electives, and then they've got extra things like clubs and events. So I am so excited. You can kind of tailor this to be exactly what you want. I do love that they've got, even though it's not personally my jam, I do love that they've got a historical romance section, because I know the girlies be loving historical romance. There's my buzzwordathon board, and I'm just going to stick that down. So that little flap that I had on the previous page was just me noting down what I was going to do for each of my major, minor, and my prompts, so I have a chance to keep track of that. This is the final spread that I'm setting up for the journal, and it is something that I do keep track of because I will post a couple of reels throughout the year, and I also add this to my quarterly stats here on YouTube, and this is my new to me authors. I like to keep track of how many new authors I'm trying out each year, and any author that I give 4 stars or above, I will link here. This is the last time I have to battle with the cricket the cricket letters, and I think I ripped the S because I just had a moment and we fixed it up, and then I've just getting my trusty old stamps and putting new to me. This layout was definitely pinched from Jashi Koren, because I think she had it in one of either this year or last year's reading journal, and I just think it looked amazing with that kind of gothic vibe. The pink does kind of tame it down a little bit, but hey, I love the bold black here. And then going back to that beautiful set where we had the green, I'm just picking up this beautiful clear and rose gold and doing the corners. Yes, we do have one more spread to set up. I'm just going back and popping in some little stickery bits and some little fun stuff in the headers. And I guess it's only fitting that we finish this program with the cover page. So I absolutely love this like Fae Queen Knight sticker, and decided to make her my focal point, and just really played on the pinks and the purples. So I lied, this is my last time battling with the letters. Thank God these were massive. 2026 was easy peasy to peel off. The 6 didn't want to sit well for me. So again, just mixing up some different textures and some different papers to make the background, and really making sure to keep that beautiful sticker as the focal point. Why yes, it is a Minigoni Suli art sticker. I will learn to say the woman's name one day. Just know that my lack of pronunciation does not hinder the love I feel for that artist and her work. She's incredible. So at this point, I've got some beautiful floral stickers from Journal Say, which are in the kind of same color but have a foiling, which I really like. So I'm just putting them in the background of the 2026 to give a different point difference, and just sticking down the 20. I remembered as well that I had a reading journal and I didn't know what to do with that. I wasn't sure, like, does it need to say reading journal? This is also some more stickers from Minigoni, but she had it in a washi tape. I absolutely missed that, so I just bought the washi tape stickers, which kind of gives the same vibe and really helps border this whole piece. I've decided I'm going for it, and I am going to go put reading at the top there, and then we've just put the sticker down and we're putting 2026 in the corner. This truly was, I can see now why I blacked it out. This was a nightmare fuel. The letters were so small and really stuck in there, but it does look pretty phenomenal. If I do say so myself, if I toot my own horn, if you will let me. I was convinced I was not going to have enough space, but then I forgot that I will be pulling them out. Like, we wouldn't have all that white space behind it. And overall, I'm absolutely thrilled with how this turned out. I think everything is really cohesive and really centers that beautiful sticker at the front. After hours of filming, we're now up to my final flip through of my 2026 reading journal. I do need to clean the front because I've got some like eraser shavings that have stuck, but I am absolutely thrilled. I love that I got this dusty pink color, and I've fully embraced the fact that I need 2 journals for 2026. So I've gone all out for the spreads, and let's get onto it. I will need to stamp my name here, but starting off with the beautiful cover page, which was the last thing I did. Onto my books red, which will look absolutely stunning. So it will look, this is my 2025, it'll fill up with covers and they just look beautiful, and I just love the visual representation of having my books there. So I've got lots of room, lots and lots of room. And then we go into my goals. I'm using more Storygraph, so I decided to do Storygraph challenge, and I have my little goals here. I just absolutely love the pink, and the way that the graph paper and everything just makes my brain so happy. We have my overview page where I look at what formats and if there's series versus standalone, and then I'll have room for my total pages and total books. Onto my series overview, where I'm just really conscious of how many series at the start of the year I'm finished, in the middle of, DNF'd, in progress, compared to the end of the year, and just being like really conscious of finishing more series than I start, which goes off into the beautiful series tracker. I haven't put anything in there just yet, but I might take the time to put in my priority series, but it will begin to look something like this as I go through and add series, but I'll definitely add those on my priority list in first to give the journal a kickstart. And I've left plenty of spreads for that. I also have my anticipated reads. I haven't gone through and printed off the covers yet or had a look just yet to see what I'm going to do, but again, it will look something like this when I am through with adding in the covers. And I think I'll try and only do half for the first 6 months, which gives me a chance to add any indie releases because they don't tend to have a lot of notice before they come out, but I'm definitely going to add You know, the new Gabriella Sanz book, which is coming out. There's a new trad-pubbed Tessania Odette book. The Nalini Singh books will definitely get added. And then we'll see whatever else floats my boat. I also think there's a couple of Cleopatra historical fictions coming out, which I'm very excited for. Then we go into my shelfie, which I am all kinds of obsessed with. I really took some creative liberty, and I just love the way that the washi tape and the stickers from Mina Goni Suli Art, I always say it wrong, I'm so sorry, look, and this is going to be to track how many books off my shelves that I'm actually reading, and yeah, I love it. I'm a little disappointed that I got the color wrong on this first spread, but it's my arc log, so I am going to try and not apply for too many arcs in 2026, but I have a goal to clear up my backlog arcs, so I'll include those here, but I've left 2 pages. See how much nicer this looks, because I actually went online to find out what I'm pretty sure it's this one, what the shade for this was, and tried to match it exact. But technically this one matches the outside of the journal more, so we live and we learn. Then we have my R Fantasy Bingo. I haven't got the bingo just yet because I'm waiting to see how many more I finish in December, although it's not looking great. But essentially this is the board for 25 to 26, so once I've finished up in December, and if I read any more, I'll add the stickers on Canva, and then that will be going here, and in April of 2026 we'll get the new board, so that'll add on the other side. Going into my around the year and 52 books, this is a Goodreads challenge I do every year since like 2018, 2019. And the fact that I've now got a page where I can put the little covers in, it's just gonna make my brain so happy to see the covers and fill it in. Obviously, I could only manage to fit 50, so I've got this little flip out to get the last 2. And I'm so excited to have an actual spread for this one. Here we have my priority series, so these will be the ones that I add to the series tracker first. The Guild Hunter series made it on again. I just random number generated, and the universe really wants me to catch up to date with the Guild Hunter series, and Archangel's Eternity is the 2026 release, and I believe it's going to be the final book for the series, so I just have that to read and the novella, which will actually work for my R Fantasy Bingo. This spread is my arc backlog, so these are all the arcs that I haven't read yet and are overdue, so I'm hoping to read at least 3 a month, and then I get to color in based on the color of the month, and hopefully we get to see some good traction here. The Romanceopoly challenge is back, and it is completely different, and we're going to university. This beautiful board where we've got the different areas of Romanceopoly. So the idea is that these ones in the middle, these prompts are your core curriculum, and then you choose a major, a minor, and some electives. So I've put my curriculum for the year, so I'm going to do my core, I'm going to major in paranormal studies over here, minor in fantasy theory, and then I've got one from historical, one from like contemporary romance, and a couple from dark romance, and I think this is going to be so much fun. And on the flip side, I've got the clubs that I want to be part of, and I've got some rooms for the events. So once I finish the events, I'm going to like stick in the little logos as if I've completed the badges, and I am so obsessed for this take of Romanceopoly. This is hosted by Under the Cover Book Blog, and they've even created a Notion tracker. I am just so excited to get started on this one. Then I've got my bingo, and I really love the way this has turned out. Now, despite what Hayden, my partner, thinks, I do not remember what the numbers are, and the idea is if I finish a friend rec, I will peel the little sticker here, and then I will put the cover on here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the audiobook covers where I can because they're square for some reason, and I won't know which books prompts will get me a bingo, and I think it's going to be so much fun. This has got a mix of like diversifying my reading, picking things that I don't normally reach for, like non-fiction, classic, also getting me to read books that I've bought at events such as like Ara and Babe, and then some other things like read an overdue arc, so they kind of go with my overall reading for the year. And I love the way this turned out, love these little stamp stickers, and very excited to get started on this bingo. Then we have the Buzzword Challenge by Books and Lala. I've decided to just stick with the cover challenge, and I'm not going to preemptively pick my books. I'm just going to have a look at what I've done in the year and go from there. I've got my little page set up with my little dark academia girly for my rereads, and I just love the way this looks. And the fact that as painful as it was to get these all peeled off on the sticker paper on my Cricut machine, I do love the way it looks. Then we've got a page for 2 different spreads. This is for my reading challenges and takes place from what I've put, you know, and takes inspiration from what I have listed here of things that I wanted to do. Love it. Love the pink matches here with the sticker. And on this side, we've got some authors who I'd like to finish their back catalogue. So we've got J. Rose, who I haven't read any of this year. Jasmine Mass, I want to finish off her Cruel Shifterverse series. Tasanya Odette, I really need to read more of. Rita, Lana Pericek, I think I've just got 2 series to finish, and Nalini, I've got 1 book in her her hard something series, the Rock Kiss series, Angel's Flight, and then I've put one of her thrillers because I think, you know, I love everything she writes and would love to try one of her thrillers. I don't think I've stuck this sticker on this side as close to the spine as possible, but hey, at least we're not putting any extra pressure here. And then we have my new to me authors. This is something I keep track of. Authors I try, and any authors that I give 4 stars or above, I will put here. I do wish that I had colored what was under this foiled paper black, and then this would have stand out more, but hey, that is a-okay. And then this last page, me and Connor have put together like a little easy reading challenge based on holidays and events that happen throughout the year, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this page yet, but I figured I have done so much already, and I just wanted to show you what my annual spreads for 2026 are. I'm already so excited to get stuck into this journal. And yeah, comment down below and let me know if you keep a reading journal. I'd love to know. I'd love to see what your journal looks like, and let me know what challenges or what trackers you're excited to implement in 2026. Anyway, that is all from me today, guys. I hope you're doing all kinds of well, and I'll speak to you soon. See ya.